Today I'm gonna talk about the facts that I found mind-blowing and amazing and may sound awesome to you too, depending on the fact if you heard them before or not. Number 10. Golden Ratio. You may have seen famous brand logos and might have wondered like, most of them are just bunch of rectangles and circles, but still, why are they so appealing to the eyes? Well, you might not know this, but they use something called golden ratio. But what is it? Well, if we take two quantities, for example two lines A and B, and then divide A from B, and then take the sum of A and B and then divide from the bigger quantity which is A, then you compare both results, and if they are equal, then both quantities are in golden ratio. This constant is called phi and has value around 1.618. But enough about mathematics and graph. How brand logo use this and why is it so important? Well, take a look at this Nat Geo logo. Grab a scale if you don't believe, but if you divide A side of rectangle to B side, it is a golden ratio. Look at this Apple logo. This logo is quite complex to explain, but they use same golden ratio for the radius of every circle to make the bit in apple. By the way, who ate this apple, huh? But why is it so important? Well, believe it or not, people have used this ratio for making buildings, paintings, and many things. In fact, our beautiful nature is so fond of using this ratio that you can see it everywhere. For example, see this flower and how the petals are arranged in a beautiful pattern. This pattern uses nothing but golden ratio for this pattern. I'll leave links in the description to understand how. Number 9. Rotten potatoes. Now generally any edible thing which is rotten is obviously not worth eating unless you've not eaten something for months. But the case of rotten potato is special because not only is it bad for eating, it is bad for smelling too. In fact, there's a real incident that happened with a Russian family in which the whole family of a Russian girl died by the fumes of rotten potatoes. Potatoes contains a toxic compound called glycoalkaloids, which gets concentrated when potatoes get rot and it goes out of the potatoes as a deadly gas. Well, thank me later for having a fear of potatoes. Number 8. Shuffling a deck. You might know this. What the heck, I'll tell you anyway. Shuffle a deck of cards properly, keep shuffling, and then stop. Now see first card. Which is it? 5 of hearts? Which is second? Well, you know what I'm trying to say. If you look at the order in which the cards are, chances are that no person in this world has ever got the deck of cards in the same order as you have. No matter how many times in a row he had shuffled, you will always have the unique order of shuffling a card. Why, you ask? It all comes to permutation. If you take first card from the deck, it could be any of the 52 cards, right? Now if second card is drawn, it could be any of the 51 cards because one card is already drawn before. Same is for every next card, and in this way, the number of orders of card can be 52 factorial, which is kind of like 52 times 51 times 50 times all the way to 2 times 1, which is this big number. But our universe is only this much second old. Isn't it amazing? Number 7. Redundancy of Mario graphics. Have you ever played Super Mario Bros? You know, the classic? Well, if you didn't, then skip to the next. But if you did, then maybe you didn't know that the clouds and the bushes both are the same graphics images, just colored differently. And no, it is not because the designers were lazy, it is because of the limitation of RAM we had back then and the techniques to utilize RAM efficiently. Number 6. Fold in a paper. You can't fold a paper in half more than 8 times. That's bullshit. World record for folding a paper in half most number of time is 13. You can fold paper in half as much time as you want as long as you have enough paper, like 2000 meter of paper used for 13 folds. But the main thing is that after folding paper around 45 times, the total thickness of folded paper is so thick that you can climb onto it and reach moon. Seriously. And after 103 folds, you would have passed the observable universe. Don't forget the spacesuit though. Actually, all of this is a play of exponential. See, every time you fold a paper, thickness becomes 2 times than the previous thickness. And if you do the math, which I know you won't, you can see the thickness doubles rapidly after each folds. But you may not be able to do that as doing only 20 folds requires about 5.7 million meters of paper. Number 5. Vastness of numbers. Sometimes numbers or the units for denoting numbers can be underestimated, no pun intended. For example, if you count from 1 to million in a normal 1 number per second speed like 1, 2, 3, and so on, it will take 11.5 days to reach to million. And if you count from 1 to billion, it will take 32 years to reach to billion. Number 4. Screensavers. It would be appropriate to call them screensavers in the early 2000s, but not now. Back in early 2000s, before that, people used to have CRT monitors for PCs. And if the same still image was left on the screen for too long, the image would get burned onto CRT, leaving a ghost of the image. Kinda like that. That's why screensavers were used, to prevent the screen from continuously displaying the image and replace it with animations or pictures, which would literally save the screen. But nowadays, LCD or LED monitors are used, so screensavers are no longer needed, and they just waste the power and are just used for entertainment purpose. Number 3. Earth. Every planet's name is based on a mythological god. Mars is named after Roman god of war, no, not Kratos, Mars. Venus after Roman goddess of love and beauty, but Earth is not named after any mythological god. That's okay, but the problem is that we don't even know who named Earth. It also means that the use of name Earth as the planet we live in is far more old than we think. Number 2. Power button symbol. A simple symbol that we see on our day-to-day life, like when we are turning on PC, shutting down PCs, and many places. But do you know that this symbol consists of numbers 0 and 1 in a fashion that 1 is breaking the number 0? In digital world, 0 means off and 1 means on. So this symbol is a very good symbolization of power button. Number 1. Mantis shrimp. Now you may not know that, but it resides in your stomach. Just kidding, it resides in ocean. But the interesting fact about this little creature is that it can swing its claws so fast that it boils the water around it and creates a flash of light, although very dim for naked eyes. Also, the temperature due to which the water boils is around 5000 Kelvin, which is close to the temperature of the sun. But it happens for a very short amount of time and within a very small area, so don't worry about burning. Well, that's all for today, but I'll be back with more.